Bleeding purple and gold from the heart of Los Angeles. This is the LakersNation.com podcast with your host, Trevor Lane.
Hello, Lakers Nation. Welcome to the show. As always, we are powered by CLNS Media and LakersNation.com, your home for everything Lakers. Today's show is brought to you by betonline.ag. Very, very simple. All you guys have to do is go to clnsmedia.com/LeBron, plug in the promo code CLNS50, you get 50% back on your first deposit for online sports betting. I will talk more about that in a little bit. But first, we need to talk about everything going on in the world of the Los Angeles Lakers. And yeah, we haven't had a Lakers Nation podcast in a little bit. It was a comedy of errors last week. We had a number of things going on. My guest that I was supposed to have come on, my big guest, unfortunately got incredibly sick, actually wound up in the hospital. So hopefully he is doing better. And as things broke and news changed and shifted, and I got pulled in a few different areas. So we're going to do two shows this week in order to help make up for not having a full show last week. Did have a number of news feed shows. If you're not subscribing, by the way, guys, if you're not subscribing to the Lakers Nation podcast, head over to iTunes, rate, review, and subscribe to the show. That way, when we do put out a new show, you get notified right away. And we certainly appreciate the rating. Helps out with our with iTunes ranking system and everything. But also go in and subscribe to the Lakers Nation news feed. That's where I go on and I break down some of the latest NBA news and give the Lakers slant on it, what it means from the point of view of the Los Angeles Lakers. So that's a lot of fun too. Those ones are usually only about 7 minutes or so, sometimes as long as 10 if there's something that we really need to dig into, but a little bit different format. But make sure you guys go rate, review, and subscribe to that one as well as we try to put out more podcast content. Personal note here. I just moved. That's part of the reason why I was so ridiculously busy is I was moving, and I'm happy to say that also means that I moved in to my new studio, and I am super, super thrilled to be using it right now. I actually don't have up all of my audio paneling just yet, so I am hoping that this doesn't come off too echoey. That can be a little bit of an issue the way the room is set up right now, but in the future, we are going to have audio panels up. It's going to be great. I'm so excited to have this dedicated space for the Lakers Nation podcast and also to do more video stuff, the Lakers Nation post-game show, all the Facebook Live things that we're going to be doing, stuff going on our YouTube channel, which is just blowing up. It's doing some amazing things. If you head over to the Lakers Nation YouTube channel, definitely go check that out as well. I'm going to be posting all kinds of videos there when we do news feeds and things like that. More video content from myself and everybody else at Lakers Nation. So I'm excited about all of this moving forward. Excited to finally be moved in to this new studio and be able to use it. And yeah, big things coming, guys. I am thrilled and can't wait to actually get everything set up exactly the way I want. I've started putting together some pieces here and there and things like that, but it does still have a little ways to go. I got to bring in some paint and all sorts of stuff. Those of you who have moved know how much fun that is. So it's time consuming, but in any event, it's just about done. We're over the hump, and I'm happy to be back here in front of the microphone. All right, so a million things going on in the world of the Los Angeles Lakers. As I said, my guest that I had planned for this past week ended up getting extremely ill. And so didn't have him come on. And then I started looking at everything that I wanted to talk about, everything I wanted to discuss. And I decided, you know what? It's been a while since I've done a solo show. It's been a while since I've just sat down in front of the microphone and talked about everything that's going on here, everything that's going on in the world of the Lakers. And I think it's time. And this is why, guys, we're going to look at a few different things. But I think there's some things, some angles right now that aren't being discussed, at least not enough, because there's a ton of negativity going on about the Lakers right now. That's all we're hearing. Negative, negative, negative. The front office is a mess. They're not going to get any free agents. Magic Johnson bailed on them. Now LeBron's mad at Magic Johnson for leaving, and LeBron has questioned his faith in the Lakers organization, and all of these things, all of these negative stories. And yes, I know LeBron went on Instagram and refuted that and everything, but all these negative stories, and I think sometimes we lose sight of just how good of a position the Lakers are in too. So I want to dig into all that stuff. I want to talk about the process that they're going through with this whole head coaching search. So the first segment of the show, I'm going to talk about who is running the Lakers organization now that Magic Johnson is gone and what that means moving forward. And then I want to get into in segment 2, I want to talk about the head coaching candidates. I want to talk about who is going to be coaching the team and who the options are. I'm really surprised that we haven't heard who the coach is just yet. We know multiple interviews have gone on, but still no announcement on an official head coach just yet. That's going to have to come sooner rather than later, just given the timing of things with the NBA offseason. And in the final segment, I'm going to talk about LeBron James. A lot of us, we're focused so much on Rob Pelinka and Kurt Rambis and all these other names that are around the Lakers. And it's almost like we're putting LeBron on the back burner, kind of because he's out of sight, right? And so he's out of mind as well. And so we're just not thinking as much as we should be about LeBron and his role in all of this. So I want to dig into that in the third segment. So that's where this whole show is heading. So buckle up, guys. I appreciate you coming on here and listening to the show and joining me as we dig and dive through the world of the Los Angeles Lakers, which is always interesting. There's always a million things going on in Lakerland, and that's part of the reason why I love covering this team so much. So who's running the show? We know right now Magic Johnson abruptly leaves. Peace out. Magic's gone. He says, see you later. We heard the rumor that Magic was maybe leaving because, well, some emails got forwarded to him, or he accidentally got CC'd by Jeannie Buss. Some emails that were pretty critical of him from Rob Pelinka. And then Jeannie on these emails wasn't backing him up, wasn't defending Magic. Well, we've also heard a refute of that report. Some people saying that no, that's not accurate at all. That's not what happened. It was Rick Bucher who originally said that's what happened, and that was why Magic Johnson was talking about getting stabbed in the back. Where does the truth lie? I don't know. Look, it's a tangled web, that's for sure. If that was a factor, that's a little bit disappointing. Hey, being CC'd in on email causes someone to quit their job. Quit their job, I might add, that's paying them $10 million per year. $10 million. Look, I know Magic Johnson is not hurting for cash or anything, but man, wouldn't it be nice to be able to walk away from $10 million and just be like, I don't need it. Man, that's something. So Magic Johnson, whatever the reasoning was, whether he had his feelings hurt by some emails or he just felt like he really, really, really needed a tweet, whatever it was, he's gone. And so now the Lakers are left trying to figure out what's next. And I've been calling for this. A number of different media personnel have been calling for this. I've been saying, look, the Lakers need to cast a wide net right now. They need to canvass the league and they need to find somebody to take over Magic Johnson's role. You need to go, because look, there's no salary cap with executives. There isn't. The salary cap is put in place to prevent teams like the Lakers from overspending and just outspending all of their rivals, which, by the way, don't forget, the Lakers do contribute to revenue sharing quite a bit, actually. And so they are essentially paying their opponents to play against them, to compete against them, really, for free agents, for everything. That's what the Lakers do. But they've got deep pockets. And look, if there was no salary cap, the Lakers could just go out there and outspend for everybody. Kevin Durant, you want $100 million, fine, here you go, right? They could go out and spend for whatever they want. And so the salary cap is put in place to stop that from happening, but that doesn't necessarily exist with executives. So if you're going to replace Magic Johnson, what's to stop the Lakers from going to Bob Myers, who's running the Golden State Warriors and has done a masterful job, and saying, hey, what's your salary, Bob? We'll double it. Come on down to LA. Let's talk about that. Okay. Or Sam Presti in OKC, or Daryl Morey in Houston, or any of the other top executives. They could go and do that. They could go find the best of the best of the best. And it's, in my opinion, and in a lot of experts' opinions, the best thing to do for a basketball franchise that's making some major decisions is to have smart basketball people. Put as many smart basketball people as you can in a room, and no, they're not always going to agree, but ultimately they'll come up with a smart decision. Most likely. The more smart people you put together, the better it is. Well, that is not the direction the Lakers are going. Instead, it's the status quo, guys. And look, this is where a lot of the negativity stems from. The Lakers are going by the same old playbook. When things get bumpy, when things get a little bit scary, the water gets a little bit turbulent. It's a little bit of a tough situation. What the Lakers have done is they circle the wagons. They turn to within and they look for support from the people that they know. And when I say they, I'm mainly talking about Jeannie Buss. She falls back on the people she knows and the people she trusts. Why is trust such a big deal? Look, the Lakers are a huge organization, multi-billion-dollar organization, and they are run in a lot of ways like a family business. And that's part of that is Dr. Jerry Buss. Part of that is the way he set things up. Part of that is just the fact that it's run by a family. I mean, it's run by the Buss family. So naturally, you're going to get family dynamics in there. But the Lakers are run in that way where when things go tough, they turn to family. And that's natural. That's what we all do in our personal lives. But the problem is the Lakers are not an individual. The Lakers are not really a family. The Lakers are this massive business. And look, where you can forgive family for their shortcomings, right? If your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, your cousin, whatever, comes up short in some way, lets the family down, well, you know what? That's a learning lesson and you move forward and everybody's better for it in the end and all of that kind of stuff, right? The Brady Bunch music airs, the credits roll, and that's it. That doesn't exist in the world of professional basketball. That's not the way things work. You can't just lean on family when the going gets tough. Because who knows if family is really the best fit. Okay? And I'm talking about Rob Pelinka, right? Jeannie turns to Rob Pelinka now. Magic Johnson's gone and Jeannie turns to Rob Pelinka and says, hey, you're going to run the show. By all indications, that's what's happening here. Not, hey, let's go bring in somebody from the outside. Let's go bring in the best and the brightest because we're the Lakers and we want the best minds out there. No, they're saying, all right, next man up. Rob Pelinka, you're going to slide up a bit. You're going to take on some more responsibilities. You're not just going to be a GM anymore. We don't even know what the title is just yet, but that's the route that they're taking. And in addition to Rob Pelinka, Kurt Rambis, he's going to get involved because, hey, Laker legacy, right? Lakers runs through the veins of Kurt Rambis. His blood is purple and gold. And that means something that matters. Look, I love Kurt Rambis. I grew up on the Showtime Lakers. Kurt Rambis is awesome. Okay? We'll always remember Kurt Rambis for those goggles and the hustle and flying all over the floor and all of those things, but that does not necessarily mean that he's a good executive. It certainly hasn't meant that he's been a good NBA coach because he hasn't. He hasn't been a good NBA coach during his tenure in the league in a coaching role, and it doesn't mean that he's going to be a good executive. Now, does Kurt Rambis have more know-how, more knowledge in terms of basketball evaluation than a random person off the street? Absolutely, 100%. But is he the right mind for the modern NBA? I don't know. That's pretty questionable. Now, we're also hearing that the Lakers have brought in their contingent, it's not just Rob Pelinka, and it's not just Kurt Rambis, but Jeannie Buss has been going to interview coaches as well. She's been part of this whole thing, which is important. She's got to be, because look, Magic leaving means the spotlight's on her. If this thing goes south, it's pretty clear that Jeannie Buss is the one making these decisions to elevate Rob Pelinka, to bring in, to change Kurt Rambis' role into whatever it's eventually going to be. She also brings in Jesse Buss and Joey Buss, who have done a great job in terms of their scouting, in terms of the Lakers draft picks. You look at what they've done in the draft. And yeah, you can say, look, they haven't done well with those picks after they make them. All right. So like Thomas Bryant, great find, but they let him walk away. Julius Randle, nice find, right? Great player, 20-10 guy, just about. And they decide, no, we're not going to keep you as a restricted free agent. We're going to let you walk away. But the people identifying these talents, okay, they've done a nice job. And then the South Bay Lakers side of things. The South Bay Lakers have been run pretty darn well. Okay, Joey Buss has been running things there. So you bring in Jesse Buss with the scouting side, and he's also an assistant GM. You bring in Joey Buss. And those, I think that's the way this needs to go. You got to bring in those guys because they've been successful. Over and over again, the South Bay is being run really well. The scouting system, the draft picks the Lakers have made have been pretty darn good. Yeah, look, sure, there's some misses along the way because the draft is an inexact science, but for the most part, the Lakers have drafted really well. So you've got a couple of guys coming in who have some momentum, who've been doing some positive things. Great, good basketball minds. Bring them in. The more the merrier. But then, not only Kurt Rambis, but you also have Linda Rambis. Linda Rambis is a part of these. And look, I don't want to disparage Linda Rambis, but the perception is that she's in that role because she's friends with Jeannie. And that's not what you want. That's not the look that you want from a professional organization. And I get it. Hey, look, Joey Buss, Jesse Buss, yeah, they're Buss kids, they're family. But the results they've been getting matter. If Buss wasn't their last name, I would like to think they would still be involved in these discussions because they've been successful, because they've been doing things well. Linda Rambis, on the other hand, what can we point to and say, okay, Linda Rambis did that. And that's her claim to fame, and that's what she's done. And look, the general public, we can't see these things. Right? So the perception comes off that Linda Rambis is in her role, that she has a voice at the table because she's friends with Jeannie. And maybe she's brilliant. Maybe she does a great job. But the perception around the league of that is not super positive. You're turning to Rob Pelinka, who already has kind of a negative reputation around the league for some of the things he did while he was an agent, and who speaks in parables, and people find him a little bit strange because of that. You're turning to him to run the team. You're turning to Kurt Rambis, who has not succeeded in most of his post-playing days career. And you're turning to Linda Rambis. That's your brain trust. That's where the negativity is coming from, folks. That's why we're hearing so much negativity about the Lakers, because people are looking at this and thinking, God, what are they doing? Why aren't you going out there after the best of the best? And again, it comes back to trust. The Lakers are such a big, huge organization. They like to play things very, very close to the vest, because if you don't, things get bad fast, because anything they do becomes news. Anything that you attach Lakers to instantly. This is why we hear all the time at the trade deadline and in free agency, we'll hear Lakers thrown in with a bunch of teams that might be interested in a player. Because if you attach Lakers to anything, boom, it instantly becomes news. And so, look, I get Jeannie's trepidation about bringing in an outside person, because the value of the franchise is all tied to this. Everything that happens. So she has to have people that she trusts around her. She has to have people around her that she knows have her best interest at heart and want to portray her in a positive light and want to keep her in power. All that matters. But the question is, can you do that and still win? Can you still have winning basketball? And if push comes to shove, which of those are you going to choose? Are you going to choose keeping the control over winning? Because that could be what's happening here. It could. But I want to throw this out. I said I wasn't going to be super negative here because we've heard a ton of negativity. So that's the argument, right? That's the reason for so much doom and gloom about the Lakers. But this doesn't mean that this summer is going to be a disaster. It doesn't. Look, it doesn't look good right now. There's no denying that. The Clippers had a great season. Had a pretty strong playoff push, gave the Golden State Warriors a scare. They're going to have tons of cap space. Everything is positive going on with them. They kept their front office staff that was looking to perhaps move elsewhere. Things are looking really good for them. The positive storylines aren't coming out about the Lakers. But take a step back and look at what Rob Pelinka has to work with. Look at this. You have a Lakers team. You've got the most popular basketball team in the world. The Los Angeles Lakers, with LeBron James. Plus, you've got cap space to sign a max level player. Plus, you've got good young talent already in place in Kyle Kuzma, Lonzo Ball, and Brandon Ingram. And look, I know right now, the thing to do is to say, oh, the Lakers' young talent isn't that good because they couldn't stay healthy and there's a lot of negativity around them. Look, if they can play at the level they played at last season, I'm talking about at their peak. I'm talking Lonzo Ball like the week before he got hurt. That Lonzo Ball that was fearless, that was attacking the basket, that was getting other people involved, that was doing all of those things that looked like the Lonzo Ball that we were expecting. If you get that guy next season, this team's got something. Kyle Kuzma had his moments too. Look, it's popular right now to trash what the Lakers are doing. Okay. But my goodness, look at Brandon Ingram. Before he went down that blood clot thing, and first of all, thank goodness that Brandon Ingram is healthy and he's going to be okay, because we're talking about a potentially life-threatening thing. That matters more than basketball, right? That does. His career was on the line. His life could have been on the line, because blood clots are scary, scary business, and you don't mess with that. So before we even get into him, say thanks that Brandon Ingram is going to be okay. But on the basketball side of things, man, if you look at what Brandon Ingram did right before he got hurt that month, even playing alongside LeBron James, he was a monster. He was getting to his spots. Everything was so fluid. Everything looked so good. He looked, for the first time, comfortable on the basketball floor. He looked like it didn't matter what the defense was doing. It didn't matter if they knew where he was going to go, because he was going to get to his spots and he was going to use his endless arms and he was going to score over them each and every single time. And he found ways, and he was so efficient in the mid-range, and he was great on the defensive end. He was getting deflections, doing all these things. If you're Rob Pelinka and you're trying to sell the Lakers, and you're talking about the young players, and you're talking to, say, Kawhi Leonard, you're meeting in free agency, and you're saying, Kawhi, look at what we've got. Show highlights of Brandon Ingram. Because I'll tell you what, if that Brandon Ingram is still there, if that Brandon Ingram shows up in October, that's an all-star. That is, no bones about it, an all-star caliber player if Brandon Ingram can hit that level consistently and do it for a season. He was that good. Okay, there are some major positives here, right? Major. There are teams that would kill to be in the Lakers situation right now. So yes, I get it. Hey, it doesn't look good in terms of who's running the show right now, the optics behind them not casting a wide net, following the same path of destruction that has not worked in the past, doing the same thing over again, which is the definition of madness, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And yet, there's still hope. There is, because they are in a good situation. It is not a foregone conclusion that the Lakers are going to miss every free agent out there, because it's Los Angeles, because they've got LeBron, because they have the cap space, because they have the young players. They have a lot going for them. And we're going to get into LeBron's role in just a bit here, but Rob Pelinka has an opportunity here to prove everyone wrong, because he has taken a ton of flack. A ton. People have been saying he's not the guy for the job. Magic Johnson even hinted at him not being the guy for the job, but this is what Lakers fans have to be hoping for right now. Because I don't think there's any question now that Rob Pelinka is going to be the guy. He's going to be. Because look, if he wasn't, the Lakers wouldn't be interviewing coaches. Instead, they would be bringing in a president of basketball operations, because why interview a coach when a new president is going to want to bring in their own coach? Bring in their own people, maybe bring in their own GM. So when you factor in all that, yes, the writing is on the wall. Rob Pelinka is going to be the guy. But Lakers fans right now have to be hoping that Rob Pelinka was not the architect behind this past season. That it was Magic Johnson. That Rob Pelinka is a smart basketball mind. That Rob Pelinka would not do something silly like surrounding LeBron James with non-shooters. That Rob Pelinka would not do something silly like get fleeced by the Clippers in an Ivica Zubac trade for Mike Muscala. Don't get me wrong, Mike Muscala has a place in this league, but yikes. Ivica Zubac had way more value. That Rob Pelinka was not the guy to leak all this information and then not handle that whole situation well at the trade deadline regarding the Anthony Davis trade talks. You have to hope that all of this was Magic Johnson. Is that likely? Probably not. Rob probably had a hand in these things, but Rob's got a big opportunity here. He can prove a lot of people wrong if he can get things right this summer. And the margin of error is zero, by the way. All the mistakes made last summer have made the margin for error very, very slim. It's non-existent basically this summer. They have to get everything right, because otherwise you are wasting another year of LeBron's prime. And man, that's going to be a bad look. And that's going to be an unhappy LeBron James. So Rob's got an opportunity. The pressure is going to be on him. Now the proof's going to be in the pudding. If Genie's decided to go this way, and look, a lot of people don't agree with it, but that doesn't mean that the results, even though the process was bad, that doesn't mean the results are going to be bad. There's a world out there where the Lakers wind up bringing in Kawhi Leonard. That is, the chance of that happening is not 0%. Maybe they bring in Jimmy Butler. Maybe they bring in Tobias Harris. Maybe it's Nikola Vucevic. Maybe it's a secondary star, DeMarcus Cousins. Okay, there are opportunities out here for this team to get better, and Rob Pelinka is going to have a chance to prove everyone wrong and get that done. Okay, so before we all scream the sky is falling and everything, we're going to have to give them a chance. We're going to have to give this group a chance to prove us wrong. And look, yes, we can go into it thinking, hey, it's probably not going to work. They're going to make mistakes again. It's going to be bad. Let's just keep our fingers crossed. It's all we can do right now. All right, I want to talk a little bit about the head coach candidates. Before I get to that, guys, quick shout out to betonline.ag. Right now, the second season is underway in the NBA, and the Golden State Warriors are facing off with the Houston Rockets. How is this a second round series? This should be the Western Conference Finals, and I wish there was a way to make that the NBA Finals, because it certainly should be. Confidence high. Are you willing to place a wager? Don't know where to start. There's only one place to get in on all this action. Grab the odds and allow the experts at betonline.ag to do the heavy lifting for you. Sports, live betting, virtual casino, you name it. Betonline.ag is CLNS Media's preferred sportsbook online. If you're feeling lucky and would like to support our podcast, which we'd certainly appreciate, go to clnsmedia.com/LeBron and use the promo code CLNS50 for that 50% sign-up bonus. That's CLNS50. BetOnline.ag, your online sportsbook experts. Okay, so this segment's not going to be quite as long. I want to talk a little bit about the candidates, right? We've basically heard 4 names associated with the Lakers head coaching job, and they're probably looking at other candidates, and maybe by the time I publish this, they'll have already hired somebody, because it feels like it's got to happen, any second now. It feels like it should have happened already, because we know they've interviewed Ty Lue twice. They've interviewed Monty Williams twice. And based on an informal Twitter poll I ran, it feels like Lakers fans want Monty Williams and not Ty Lue. They've interviewed Jason Kidd, which it sounds like that was more of a favor to an agent than anything else. And they've interviewed Juwan Howard, Miami Heat assistant, and they've said they're all impressive. That's what we've heard through various leaks and things, that all of them were impressive. Actually, hadn't heard that about Kidd. But the other 3, we've heard that they were impressive and things were good. And you know what? Look, when a team is hiring a coach and when they're going through these meetings, of course they're going to say they're impressed or that so-and-so was impressive. It doesn't mean anything. It's meaningless. It's like in July when free agency starts up, we're going to hear the Lakers met with Kawhi Leonard and it went well. The Lakers met with Jimmy Butler and it went well. That's the phrase they use for every single free agent meeting out there, unless it's LaMarcus Aldridge's meeting with the Lakers, because that did not go well, if you guys remember that. But the phrase you hear over and over again is, it went well. That doesn't mean anything. It's meaningless. It's words that have no meaning, and that's the same thing as saying this guy was impressive. Now, we have heard some more detail about Ty Lue, though. We heard that Monty Williams is very personable and very likable, and that everybody loves him and all of these things, and that matters. We're going to get into why in just a second, but Ty Lue, gosh, this is a smart move by Ty Lue. I can't get over Ty Lue is, if this is accurate, this report, he is playing the Lakers. I don't mean in a negative way. I mean, he is coming in with exactly what they want. He uses emotion, a good thing to appeal to Jeannie with, okay, because we know that Jeannie has a big heart. She does. And emotion does matter. And so he speaks, according to these reports, this is via Shams Charania, he speaks with emotion, and he talks about his past experience with the Lakers. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Tell them it matters. Tell them being a Lakers player mattered to you, that you still look back fondly on those days. Tell them that it matters to you to bring this franchise back into the light. Ty Lue is taking that approach. And that's not going to fall on deaf ears. That's going to matter to the Lakers because it's historically mattered to them, because they look from within the family tree every time things get tough. So, of course, Ty Lue is making a very smart move here if he wants this job by referencing the fact that, hey, I'm a former Laker. Yeah, most people might know me as the guy that Allen Iverson stepped over in the finals, but does anybody else remember the Lue Birds? Before fans were yelling Luke from the stands, it was Lue. And yes, there were other players before that. Basically anyone with an ooh in their name, but The Lou Birds were a thing. Chick Hearn used to talk about it, that the Lou Birds were out. Lakers fans would yell Lou whenever Ty Lue would do something well. He was pretty much a fan favorite. And so, of course, he should reference that. He also went over his offense. He went over his defense. He went over all the different plays and things like that he'd like to see the team run. Smart. Very smart by Ty Lue, because he has to battle the perception that if he comes in, he's just LeBron's guy and everybody's going to do what LeBron says. Ty Lue has to go in and prove, look, I have thoughts of my own. I have my own ideas outside of LeBron James. And yes, I've got a prior relationship with him from winning a championship together with Cleveland. But that does not mean that LeBron James controls me. I'm not a puppet. I am my own man. And these are some of the things that I would like to do with your team. Brilliant. Well done by Ty Lue if that was his approach. And obviously there's way more than that being said in these meetings, but still, pretty good strategy there by Ty Lue. Monty Williams, meanwhile. Monty Williams isn't known as the great X's and O's coach, but almost in a Luke Walton-esque vein. Monty Williams is known as just being a great leader, being that guy that players connect with. And he has relationships already with a lot of players, one of them being Anthony Davis, because he used to coach him. Maybe that's going to matter. Maybe not. He also has relationships with players from his work with Team USA Basketball, and he's well liked there. That matters when you're going after free agents. And look, when you're Rob Pelinka and you're going into a room, you want to be able to point to someone and say, look, this is our coach. This is the guy that's going to provide the vision on the floor moving forward. And you want to have that person that you point to at that moment to be someone who is revered and someone who is well liked. And I think Monty Williams has that. At least look, it's not Greg Popovich. It's not Phil Jackson. It's not like Rob is going to say, hey, this is our Hall of Fame coach that has won championships before. Look, Ty Lue, yes, has won championships, but Hall of Fame, no. So he's not going to have that. Monty Williams is probably the next best bet as somebody that's going to help lure in free agents. So that matters. So do you go with Ty Lue, who's got the relationship with LeBron? Monty Williams has one from Team USA, but Ty Lue has a strong relationship with LeBron James. He's won a title with Cleveland. He's got the Lakers background and all those sorts of things. Do you go with that? Or do you go with Monty Williams, who's got this strong connection to a lot of stars around the league, who has this positive relationship, but maybe isn't the X's and O's guy? Maybe the offense doesn't look so great, and it hasn't looked great in recent years. So that's a concern. So do you go with him? It really does feel like it's going to be one of those two guys. Maybe they shock everyone and they go with Juwan Howard, who doesn't have any head coaching experience. But if you're going to do that, probably would have made sense to just keep Luke Walton around because, well, let's face it, the legal troubles we didn't know about when Luke was originally let go. The Lakers didn't know about it. And by the way, I'm not going to comment on all that stuff too much. I'm just going to say my interactions with Luke Walton have always been very positive. He was always very, very open to providing commentary during media scrums and all that kind of stuff. He usually injected a little bit of humor into things. I always had very positive interactions with him, and I just hope things work out the best for all parties. I don't know the details of the case. I don't know anything behind the scenes, so I can't really comment on it, but yeah, tough situation all around. So I hope everything works out for the best for everybody. But back to my point, if you are going to bring in Juwan Howard, who doesn't have any coaching experience as a head coach in the NBA, why would you not just keep Luke Walton, who actually has a little bit of experience? So I see Ty Lue and I see Monty Williams as being more realistic options. And Monty Williams is being pursued by the Suns too. And that matters. And he's also busy right now with the Philadelphia 76ers. So maybe that's the reason why there's been a little bit of a delay here, but it feels like the Lakers should be making a decision here anytime now. If it's Ty Lue, if it's Monty Williams, just got to hope for the best. I'm not blown away by either candidate. I don't feel like, oh my gosh, this is the guy they have to go get. But we'll see. We'll see. I can't say that either one is a definite upgrade over Luke Walton right now. But maybe they will be, and hopefully they will. Hopefully that's the way it's going to go down. Right now, we're just in a holding pattern. The interviews are done, and we're waiting to find out when the dust settles who's left standing. It's going to be interesting, that's for sure. So when the Lakers do go into these free agent meetings that are going to be incredibly important, I want to talk about LeBron. I want to talk about LeBron's role in all of this because right now we're so wrapped up in a new coach, in what everybody's role is going to be in the front office, and rightfully so. Look, those things matter. Those things are going to really set the direction of the franchise moving forward. If Rob Pelinka can make smart moves, if they can draft the right people, if they can add the right free agents, make the right trades, all these sorts of things, the Lakers could turn things around very, very quickly. They have a lot of flexibility this summer. And there's going to be a lot of pressure on those guys to make it work. But in all of that, we kind of forget, I guess we don't forget, but we kind of sweep under the rug that LeBron James is involved in this. And he's not blameless. He's got a role in it. Right? When we talked about Luke Walton, there were tons of people that were saying all season long, fire Luke, he's terrible, they need a new coach, all these sorts of things. That's fine, I get the frustration. But it's not just Luke. Is Luke blameless? No, absolutely not. He had a hand in it. But it's also the front office. It's also the injury bug. It's also the trade deadline talks that got leaked, the Pelicans' role in that. But it's also LeBron James. He's the star in the NBA. Yeah, you could say, okay, Giannis Antetokounmpo might be better right now. James Harden, maybe he's better. You can make an argument, right? But 28, 8, and 8, it's not like LeBron James has fallen off a cliff. Okay, that hasn't happened. But if you look at, in terms of impact, in terms of power, in terms of everything else, LeBron James is the guy in the NBA. And when he wants things to happen, he has ways of making things happen. So we shouldn't look at this situation and forget his involvement. And he should be involved. Because when it comes time to sit down with free agents, let me tell you this. The Lakers need LeBron. He needs to be in that room. When they sit down with Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James needs to be there, reaching his hand across the table to shake hands with Kawhi's giant claw of a hand. That's got to happen. He has to be there. When it's Klay Thompson, when it's Jimmy Butler, whoever, LeBron needs to take that first week of July and clear his schedule because he needs to be there. He's talked all about how much he wants to win with the Lakers, how he wants to hang another championship in the rafters, how he wants the Lakers to retire his jersey and all of these things, and how it matters to him to put a franchise like the Lakers back where they're supposed to be. And that's great. That's music to Lakers fans' ears. But now it's time to show that because he is going to have to be involved. Look, we know the Lakers last summer went to LeBron and said, hey, Lance Stevenson, you've had some issues with him in the past. What do you think about playing with him? And LeBron said, cool. I'm good with that. He's battled. I'll go to war with him. Rajon Rondo. Yeah, smart dude. What? We're losing Julius Randle in order to bring in Rondo? Okay, let's do that. You know he had a say. And look, LeBron, as intelligent as he is, you know that he's tried to back away. At least publicly make it look like he's not involved in this stuff because he's got a negative reputation in some ways as being the guy who takes over an organization. You look at the bad contracts the Cavs are saddled with, because they were LeBron buddies or agency buddies, right? J.R. Smith and Tristan Thompson and players like that. That's not good. And LeBron understands that perception, so he wants to make sure that it's clear that, while he has a say, the teams are ultimately making their own decisions. But let's face it, if LeBron comes in and says, I can't work with Ty Lue, don't hire Ty Lue, Lakers probably aren't going to hire Ty Lue. He still has power, he still has authority, and because of that, he needs to be there in those meetings. This is also because Magic Johnson is gone. You look at what the Lakers have. Look, Rob Pelinka is not dumb by any means. He's extremely smart and he's extremely successful. He became Kobe Bryant's agent, and Kobe does not suffer fools. He doesn't. If Kobe picked Rob Pelinka, that's a pretty strong endorsement. If Kobe went with Rob Pelinka as his agent, Kobe sees something. I trust Kobe's opinion on stuff like that. You have to. So Rob Pelinka, look, yeah, he catches a lot of flack, a lot of grief, and it makes sense. There's a reason why. He's not all that experienced in the role that he's in. Now he's going to be taking on more power. He says goofy things during meetings. He talks about manna from heaven in relation to Contavious Caldwell Pope, of all people. And yeah, it creates this weird air around him. But smart guy. But is he a closer? Because that was Magic. And you know what? We can criticize Magic all day. The reports have come out about Magic being an absentee executive. And look, that's fair. If Magic wasn't there, that's a job. Being the Lakers president of basketball operations, that's a full-time job and then some. It's not the kind of job he can just pop into every now and then and, oh, okay, hey, is everything running all right? Everything good, Rob? Okay, cool. See you later. I'll be back in a week or so. It's not the way this job works. It's not. Because you know what? Daryl Morey exists. Right? All these other executives that do so many different things. Right? Danny Ainge is out there. These guys are out there that are eating, breathing, sleeping this job, putting in hours after hour after hour, nonstop, and they are going to outwork a Magic Johnson who can't be there all the time. That's reality. Okay? So Magic Johnson, you can say he wasn't great in his role, but I'll tell you what he is good at, and maybe better than anyone else, except for maybe Jerry West. Jerry West is the only other person that I would put in this category as someone who can flat out sell Lakers basketball. I don't want anyone else in that room. And yes, look, I've heard Magic Johnson is still working with the Lakers and they're still communicating and all that. It would be awkward if he was the guy in the room with these free agents at this point, now that he's distanced himself, now that the whole weird, abrupt leaving and all that kind of stuff. But Magic's role was to land the stars. That's the appeal of having a Magic Johnson, because nobody can speak about winning as a Laker like Magic Johnson can. He's already got that magnetic personality. He's already got that something that just draws you to him. He lights up a room. I still believe, and look, I've heard nothing about this, right? This is totally me speculating, but I still believe that Paul George didn't take a meeting with the Lakers because how the heck do you say no to Magic Johnson? How do you sit in a room and say no to Magic Johnson when he's flashing that big smile and talking about how amazing things are going to be if you come join him with the Lakers and LeBron James and all of these things? Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. So now the Lakers don't have that. They don't have their closer in Magic Johnson. What's the next best thing? LeBron James. LeBron James can speak pretty eloquently, pretty passionately about basketball and about the things he wants to do out there on the floor. And I think you need him there. I think you need him in that room, because I don't trust Kurt Rambis to close the best free agents, right? And again, I don't want to bash Kurt Rambis too much. He doesn't come across as someone who you think that's his skill set. That's not in his wheelhouse. Rob Pelinka, he can close, but he's not Magic. He doesn't carry that kind of gravity with him. LeBron does. You need LeBron in the room selling alongside Rob Pelinka. You need him there. I think it really does matter. It's going to be a factor in free agency whether or not LeBron James is there. If LeBron is just calling in via speakerphone to say, hey, Kawhi, yeah, I'd love if you come play. So sign up with us and we'll be all good. We'll go win championships. All right, man, talk to you later. Click. No, that doesn't work. LeBron calling from a movie set doesn't work. LeBron's got to be there in person showing these guys, hey, I care about this team. I'm committed to this team. I want to win in Los Angeles, and I want you here with me. I think that's going to be critical for the Lakers, that they get LeBron involved. And I know, look, the perception that's been going around and Lakers fans hate this, is that LeBron's taking over the team. But in this case, you need LeBron involved. You do. And look, in a general sense, yeah, the front office needs to have the power and the authority to go ahead and make decisions on their own for the betterment of the franchise without worrying about LeBron James, without worrying about, is this good for LeBron, or they need to just look at, is this good for the franchise? But right now, those two things intersect in free agency, and in those free agent meetings, especially without Magic Johnson. You need a LeBron James in there selling. Heck, bring in Kobe if you can too. Why not? Okay, although Kobe didn't go over so well with Dwight Howard when he tried to convince him to come back. But maybe that was a little bit of a bullet dodge there. But you need LeBron James in those meetings. I'm convinced of that, and I hope that's something that happens. If it does, I think the Lakers' chances go up of actually landing somebody this summer. And you know what? If they don't, man, we're going to find out what Rob Pelinka is made of, because he's going to have one hell of a plan B if the Lakers don't land a max free agent this coming summer. All right, guys, I've gone on long enough. I want to remind you to please go over to iTunes, rate, review, and subscribe to this show. Don't forget, follow Lakers Nation on social media, at Lakers Nation on Twitter and Facebook, at Lakers Nation Official on Instagram. You can follow the Lakers Nation YouTube channel. Make sure you guys go check that out. Follow me if you want. I'll pick up a few followers. Follow me at Trevor_Lane on Twitter. You can follow me at Trevor Lane NBA on Instagram. Would love to have you guys follow me on there. That's going to do it for today. I am going to be doing another show this week. I would imagine, I'm hoping that we're going to get an announcement on who the coach actually is. So I'm going to bring in a guest then, and we're going to break it all down. We're going to talk about what it all means for the Lakers moving forward. So that's going to be coming later on this week. And then now that we're moving into the summer, now that things are settling down, I'm going to try to stick to an every Monday schedule. So we're going to look at that. Maybe they'll be a little bit thrown off when we get to summer league and all that sort of stuff, but every Monday for the full length podcast. And then the news feeds, which are the shorter shows, those are going to be coming out as needed. As news breaks, we'll be discussing all of the breaking Lakers news. So make sure you go follow the Lakers Nation news feed as well. That's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you all so much for joining. Thank you all so much for listening. Really appreciate you guys supporting us. It means a lot to me personally. It means a lot to us at Lakers Nation. Till next time, see ya.